Hello, welcome to my craft room. My name's Tina from Simply in Stitches, and I thought it was about time I came back for another Woolly Wednesday to talk about the sweater I finished, because we did a tutorial to make your first sweater and I never actually showed mine finished apart from on Instagram. So I thought I'd better come on because I've already nearly finished another one. So I thought before I finish another one, I'd better show you how I got on. It's the Winter Wine sweater by Drops, and it's a simple top-down raglan sleeve sweater, little bit of decreases to the waist and then increases for the hips if you wanted to, but if you didn't want to you can just do it straight down. I really love this. It is the Drops Air yarn and I really love this yarn. It is so light but cosy. It's amazing. It has got fluffiness because it is alpaca, so there is that. I don't know how it's going to stand up to wear. It's already bobbling, but I have been wearing it loads because I love it so much. It's just perfect. It just feels so nice on the skin, but you just forget you're wearing it because it's so light, even though it is the equivalent of an Aran weight. So yeah, it's a lovely sweater. The only thing I'm not happy with is the length of the sleeves, and I just wish they were that little bit longer. But with alpaca it has got a tendency to stretch, so what I thought is I'm not going to make them longer at the moment because then they might end up far too long. So I thought I'm just going to gently keep pulling them down, and when I wash it then I shall just pull it down that little bit each time, just to see if I can just make it that little bit longer, because otherwise I do think in time it's just going to end up too long. But yeah, the fit was really nice as it said in the pattern, so yeah, no variations. So I shall show you the new one that I've already got on my needles. So the pattern we used was the Winter Wine by Drops, and this is in a different colourway. I would love to do that one next year, but there's one thing holding me back, and I don't know if you've heard, but Drops have been a bit naughty and they've been copying some indie patterns and claiming them as their own, so which isn't very fair. So if they do carry on having those patterns up, then I'm not going to be buying their yarn. So I shall put down below the Instagram. I think it's Drops. On Instagram you've got a picture of the original and you've also got a picture of the Drops one, and so yeah, take a look. I should put a link down below so you can make up your own mind about how you feel about that. I'm going to be trying not to use their yarn, and it's going to be hard because I do love this yarn. So yeah, if I'd known that before we did the tutorial then I wouldn't have gone with that, but that's the way it goes, and you don't have to use that yarn if you don't want to use the tutorial, because as I'm going to show, I've already started it in a different yarn, so it's up to you. So moving on to the new version that I've been knitting. It's in my Swan bag, the big bag. So this yarn is one of those huge 400-gram balls, and it's Hayfield Bonus Aran. It's 20% wool and it's the tweed one. And so I'm seeing if I can get the sweater out of that. Because this yarn is so light, you do get a lot for 100 grams. And I could have checked the meterage, but I didn't. Because I was going to do it anyway, So this is how far I am. So because I don't know how much yarn I'm going to use, I have done both sleeves up to the cuff. So I took yarn from the centre of the ball and made 200-gram ones for the arms, and then I have come down and I'm just increasing again at the waist, and I have got this much left, so quite a lot left. Probably not going to be enough, so it might be shorter than this one, we don't know. What I was thinking of though, the reason I've left the cuffs is because if I can, I'm going to have just a contrast colour on the cuffs and on the band at the bottom. The ribbon, the bottom of the jumper ribbon. So thoughts on this yarn. It's a lot thicker and chunkier. It's really nice to knit with. I've enjoyed it. It's nice and smooth. Not sure about the tweeding on it. So I've gone too light now. Too light. That's more the colour, so it's a dark plum. But this tweeding, it's very loose when you're knitting it, so how much is actually going to stay on the sweater, I don't know, we shall see in time. But I do like the tweeding because this is, for me, I want to get it finished now because I'm seeing this as a spring gardening jumper. That's what I want it for. So instead of wearing a coat, I can throw this on and be nice and warm and be able to move around in the garden, sorting it out for the lovely sunny weather that we're hopefully going to have later on. So yeah, so really pleased with that. It's just so easy, this pattern, and just so relaxing. Just watching something on TV and knitting away, just mindless. And that is another reason why it's nice to have these flecks of colour, which makes it a little bit more interesting, because obviously this is the second one that I've knit, so that's an awful lot of just knitting. So I am ready for something a bit more challenging next, I think, but it's what I needed at the time. And yeah, I think I'm really going to enjoy wearing this and when I finish. So hopefully there may be a podcast next week with the finished article. Who knows? I don't know what colour contrast yet, because I was just going to see how far I got and then make it up as I go along, because that's how I roll. So that is that sweater. Just tuck that back in the bag. I've also had a new cast on. That is living in the bag that I made at the NEC with Debbie Shaw on Sunday. We went to the sewing, stitching, craft show at the NEC on Sunday, and so we just did an hour course to make the bag. So this is Debbie Shaw fabric as well. I really love this fabric. And so yeah, it was a race against the clock. It's got magnetic clasp, which I've never done before, so that's quite nice to see how that is. So the new start in the bag is another blue. I've made this cardigan before in pink, quite like that one, but just in pink. And so I thought I'd like to have another one for the summer because it's really light. It's fingering weight 4-ply yarn, but knit on 4mm needles, so it is very lightweight and lovely to wear when you just want something on the back of your arms in the summer. So this yarn is the third time I've cast it on, and so I'm hoping this is going to be the project for it, because both projects before weren't for me. So this is how it's knitting up so far. I've only got 100 grams of it as well, so I'm doing it again. So yeah, what I'm thinking with this, let me explain. So because it's top down, I am thinking that I'm starting at the top and it's going to be like a yoke. So I'm going to carry on until I run out of the hand dyed yarn that I shall show you in a moment, and then I'm going to have a plain colour further down. So fingers crossed it works out. I haven't got the ball band for this one, but it's a Hey J yarn that I picked up at Fibre East last year, and it's 20% superfine alpaca, 60% superwash merino and 20% nylon. So I haven't got a name for this one. I don't think it actually had a name for what I remember on the ball band, but as I say, this is the third time I've cast it on and I've just lost it. So I don't know how much you can see the colours there. So yeah, it's pink, green, quite bright, a lot of colour, but I'm just thinking in summer that'd just be really nice. So that is what I've cast on. So hopefully there'll be a lot more of that done next week as well, so we can see what it's looking like, and then I'll be thinking about what colour I'm actually going to put with it. I am thinking of more the light blue colour, I think, just to tone it down a little bit, and blue is always a handy colour, a wearable colour in the summer, isn't it? So I think I'm going to go with that rather than the green or the pink, which is quite bright. So I think that'd be too glary and too much. So yeah, I think I'll go for a paler blue to go with it. So I'm interested to see how that comes out. So I can go back in the bag. I'm into my bag making at the moment because I've just made a project bag for my cross stitch as well. So I think you'll be seeing a lot more bags coming along in the future. I've got the bug, I think, for making the bags. I don't like the dressmaking anymore. I've fallen out of love with the dressmaking, but I do like making the bags. They're nice and quick, which is what I like. And I bought quite a few fat quarters of fabric when we were at the show, so I can make some nice interesting bags with those. Talking of bags, I met the lovely Anita from Gaga Knits at the show. We arranged to meet for a cup of tea, and she gifted me a lovely bag that she made me. So it's really beautiful. I'm really chuffed with it, and it's got carrot cake on there as well. There was Welsh cakes inside. I've already eaten those, they're gone. They were lovely. But inside this bag, I had to use it straight away, obviously. Oh, and she's got her own label. I need these. I need some labels for my bags. That's very posh. Very professional. Hello Anita, by the way, if you're watching. What am I going to have in this bag? Well, there could only be one project, couldn't there? And that is my socks, because I won this yarn from Anita's podcast. I'll show a link to Anita's podcast down below, because if you haven't watched, you really need to go and check her out, because she makes all the things. She's a brilliant sewer, knitter, yeah, just lovely. Lovely lady. So I won this yarn from Anita last year, and I'm on my second sock, so I thought, right, this is going in here because I think it goes quite nicely in there, and yeah, it makes me happy every time I knit on it now. I think of Anita. So yeah, it's just a simple sock that I am doing, just my normal plain sock. This is a yarn that was dyed in Wales because Anita's from Wales, and I've lost the ball band once again, so I can't tell you, but it'll be on my Ravelry notes if you wanted to know. And I shall put my project page down below so you can go and look at any of the projects and go through any of the links if you want to. So yeah, just a normal sock just to work on when I want something easy just to pick up and do some of that. So that is living in my new special bag there. So the only other thing to speak about at the moment is what my plans are for the week ahead, what I'm going to be working on. Well, I'd really like to finish that sweater if I can. It knits up quite quickly because it is an Aran weight. So I have got a chance of finishing that. I'm also looking to start a new crochet project because I want a nice blanket. I lost one of my cats, and the other cat's been feeling very lonely and wanting more attention. So I've been changing my habits really, and we've found a new place that we sit in the mornings and sometimes at lunchtime. And I think it'd be nice to have a nice blanket in that room because it is where the computer is. It used to be the kids' sitting room, they had a TV in there, but now they're not around so much. It's changing, morph into a different room, and it's getting to be more of a relaxing room with no television. So yeah, we've got a nice big sofa in there that we like to sit on, so I thought it'd be lovely to have another crochet blanket that stays in there so we can snuggle up, because I'm not a brilliant sleeper and sometimes I can be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So it'd be nice if we can have a nice blanket in there to cuddle up under. So I've been thinking about colours that will go in that room, and I very much wanted to use from Stash because I've got quite a lot of the DK Style Craft Special yarn, which is perfect for blankets. So the colour palette I've picked up is going to be this. So what I'm thinking of is sort of like plenty of green and cream. I need to get some more cream ones. I want to be quite light, and then some of these reds going into an orangey colour. And I think it'd be like quite garden themed really, and it's like a summer garden I was thinking, or a spring garden. So this is where I would really like your help, because I've made 2 granny stripe blankets and I really love making those, but I think it's time I push myself just a little bit more. I want it to be a pattern that I can do in front of the TV and something that's not going to take too much brain power. So if I want to work on it at 5 o'clock in the morning, I can. But I do want to do something slightly different. So if there's any crocheters watching, I would like to know what your recommendation is for a pattern for a relatively new crocheter. But yeah, I don't know if I want to do like a granny, do squares rather than stripes, or I don't know. But these are the colours, so what sort of thing do you think would go? I was just thinking, because that is like quite garden themed, would the granny squares be like flowers or something? I don't know. Help, please help me. Please put in the comments down below any patterns you've enjoyed. It's not just the ones you like to look at, but what you've actually crocheted and you enjoyed crocheting, because it's very much the crocheting. I've got to enjoy the crocheting to finish it, and that's what I loved about the granny stripe, is the rhythm of it. It was very soothing. If I was really tired and I didn't want to pick up anything else, but I wanted to feel like I'm doing something, then I would pick up my granny stripe blanket and work on that. So yeah, I would like something that is quite simple really. But yeah, just I'm thinking granny squares, so I'd start doing corners and things might be a good idea for me. So let me know what you think. So that is it for today, just a short one, just to get up to date, and hopefully I will be back with you next week. I would like to bring back Woolly Wednesday every Wednesday, even if it's just a 10-minute video, just to, because it's really hard when you stop, it's really hard to get going again. I don't know why, but it's really hard to actually sit down and make, even though I really love talking to you. Yeah, it's just something that stops you, so I really want to get back into it, because I really like doing the updates and getting your feedback and help. It's really encouraging, so thank you for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. Please leave any comments of anything you'd like to talk about, or any questions you'd like to ask down below, and I shall see you again next week. Take care, bye for now.